Welcome back, everybody. Man, it's been a while. So welcome back to Final Fantasy IV. I apologize. This part's actually coming up a little late. I had a little bit of an allergic I want to say allergic infection, but it was just my allergies caused a bit of an infection, so I was not able to record. It's a trap! No! Ow, that hurt! That was a nasty drop. Alright, so what this actually did was it put us down into the, again, into the underground portion of, or the underworld portion of the Tower of Babel, so we are back in the underground, which is where we need to be. So like I said, I missed a couple of weeks. I had to take some time to rest, so I am back. Hopefully everything worked out for people. I was still able to do the podcast at least. And I'm at least happy about that. But yeah, this is going to be coming up a week late. I apologize. But that's the reasons for it. And right now we are just making our way through the underworld portion of the... Did I just say underworld? Underworld portion of the Tower of Babel. After being knocked down here from the crystal room. So obviously Golbez knew we were going to try and do that. So I guess the first question that came up for a lot of people is like, what were you doing in the meantime? And I will answer that in a second. Holy crap, what? An airship? An enemy airship? Alright, we can escape in this! But it's an enemy ship. Who cares? I'm sure she'd rather be flown by us anyway. I think Edge is in love. You don't suppose this could be a trap, do you? This beauty? Not a chance. Let's call her Falcon. What do you think, Rydia? Suits me fine. Let's get going. Yes, let's go. Falcon, take us up! Well, that's not too bad. I mean, we won't have any Star Trek problems, at least. So now we have a new airship for the underground. It is the Falcon. And it looks way different compared to some of the other airships you've seen. And part of that is, I think, because of how the coding, or how it's supposed to look underground for the purposes that it's used. That's my guess, at least. Now, as you can see, we still have the same restrictions that we did with the, well, we didn't really have restrictions with the Enterprise, but now we have a restriction where we can't fly over the water, or lava in this case, probably because of the heat. So let's go ahead and get back to the Dwarven Castle. You've returned! Were you able to recover the crystals? I'm sorry. I see. Golbez is very persistent. He is trying to open the sealed code by force. It will be a matter of time before he succeeds, though. Please, get the crystal before he does. Luca, come here. Bloody-ho! Yes? Your necklace. Here. This is the key to open the sealed cave. Without this necklace, no one can enter. We must protect the last crystal. We'll do our best. Alright, so now we have Luca's necklace, which is the key to the sealed cave. It's the last crystal that Golbez needs to gather. We gotta stop him. Obviously, this is our next goal. We tried to get the crystals back from the Tower of Babel. It didn't work out so well. Oh, and look! Somebody actually survived! Hey, where's my food? Sid? Sid! Oh my gosh, Sid! I can't believe it. Dad, I mean Sid. How did you... Who's this geezer? Geezer? Who's this snot-nosed kid? Watch your mouth, windbag. I'm Edge, Prince of Eblet. It's hard to believe. but it's true. I'm also handsome and really skilled. Oh, hush. Sid needs to rest, not listen to you brag. Thanks, Rydia. Rydia's got you whipped, eh, kid? Shut up! Jeez! So what of Golbez? He still holds all of the crystals except one. We can't go after the last crystal since we left the Enterprise on the surface. We've taken an enemy airship, but it can't fly over the magma around here. Well, then I guess it's time for me to shine. You're all just hopeless without me. Yeah, that's a word I'd use. Back to bed! Wait until you heal! Lally-ho! Ah, can it and give me a hand! Yes, we're going to have yet another performance montage, except with the Master Performer. I think he's fine. Yeah. So what Sid is basically doing is he is giving us kind of a mithril coating to fly over magma. So now we have the whole underground, or I want to say underground every time. We have the whole underworld to explore. Oh, and look, him and Edge are getting along so well. Maybe it's just me, but I want to imagine Edge bringing out his internal Napoleon Dynamite when Sid is around, because he's just like, gosh, stop treating me this way. Alright, so now we're just continuing to work here on the coating for the airship. Oh, and it looks like we're done. Cool. Now you can fly over anything. Thank you, Sid. Dad. Sid. Sid? Sid? Sid! Oh, okay. He must be pooped. He's overworked himself again. Thank you, Sid. So now that we have this coating, we can actually fly around the underworld and explore. Wait, what? Exploration in an RPG? I'm speaking madness. There isn't obviously a lot to explore because you are restricted, but there are a couple places. So we wanted to go to Kokol's Forge. This is actually a well-known dwarven smith. The master lost his spark. Now he just sleeps the days away. Okay. This is Master Kokol's workshop, home of the world's finest smith. Alright, well, let's meet this fine smith, and maybe he can help us out with, if you guys hadn't figured it out, you know, Kokol is kind of part of the whole final weapons deal, so, at least to some extent. You can get a final weapon from him, you need the right materials, though. And so now we're going to go ahead and meet him. Oh, he's sleeping. Oh, that's so cute. My smithing days are over. I won't forge a sword again until I find the legendary ore, adamantite. So now it kind of looks like, alright, this is what he needs to make us a good weapon. Well, at least he's already said it. He'll forge a sword for us, which would be probably a weapon for Cecil. Here's the only other town in the Underworld, at least to my knowledge. And that's Tomra. There are some upgrades here, so we are probably going to be upgrading some weapons and armor, which is kind of needed, because we've been going for a while without upgrading. Aside from dungeons. Oh, and look, another Ashura. A chain whip for Rydia. Ogre Killer is okay. I probably would put one on Cecil more than I would Kane. And then you do have a killer bow. Alright. So now we have a double Ashura that's going to help out Edge a lot. We have an Ogre Killer for Cecil for the time being. You can give Kane axes, but I don't think it's the best thing to do for him. Mainly you want to stick with lances. See, here's the thing that I can't remember correctly. Is I want to say, like, if you gave... In the older games, if you gave Kane an axe, it would actually block off his jump ability. And that's a big deal to Kane, so you always want to stick with lances. And obviously we are going to be getting some diamond armor and some new armor for Rydia and Rosa, as well as Edge. And unfortunately, we ran out of inventory. Man, you guys will even see this later. I hit that item cap in this game so much. Because there are just times when I'm like, oh man, I could totally have sold a bunch of stuff. And in a lot of cases, I always, before I go to a dungeon, forget to sell off a bunch of stuff so that I can collect new weapons and armor. I wish I could say I got better later on in the recording, but not really. Probably during the final bit, I will be really good, because there will be a lot of weapons and armor that can be found in the final dungeon. And people might also be wondering, why are you selling off the arrows? Because I'm not really using them. You know, I'm keeping a couple, maybe, just in case Rosa comes across a really good bow, but I don't really use them that much. Like, once you get Rosa with a staff and Rydia with a whip, it's kind of pointless to put a bow on them. Alright, we're just doing an auto-equip of all the new weapons and armor. Now we can sell all the other stuff. Clear up even more space. Alright, 2 ice armor, 1 power armlet. Sage's Mitre, Icebrand, Sage's Solstice, and the Ogre Killer. We'll go ahead and sell that. Yeah, I actually had another Ogre Killer. I forgot about that. Spent 45,000 gil for nothing. Okay, now with that, this was actually a point where I did need to do some level grinding. And to those who have followed my other LPs, you know the rule here. And to those who don't, you must be new here. Welcome. I don't do grinding on camera. And very simple why. I like to enjoy the story. So, we will have a grinding break, and then movie magic will set in. Because that's how I roll. And just before I get that grinding going, this is actually the... right next to Tomra is the Sealed Cave. We aren't going to go do that just yet because there are a couple of side quests that we can take on. One is here, in the Sylvan Cave. So this is actually the point where I did do a little bit of grinding and brought a couple of levels up. Now we're actually going to go into the Sylvan Cave and get the treasures that lie within. While we're doing that, since the Sylvan Cave is pretty long, a lot of people might be asking, so what have you been doing while you've been recovering? Have you been able to hit some games? I have, actually, and I've hit a couple, so we're going to go into that while we are moving around the Sylvan Cave. First of all, an update that I didn't give in my last time, which was I actually got around to playing a little bit more of No More Heroes for the Wii. I have enjoyed that game so much. You know, this might be a bold statement, but that game to me is the Star Wars game that I have kind of waited for a while. It's fun to play. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort, thankfully, to master. And the lightsaber stuff in there, yeah, it's supposed to be like a beam katana. The lightsaber is, it's such wonderful gameplay because it's just doing combos. And I have enjoyed that. I have taken down 2 more assassinations. Like, the last time I gave an update, I took care of the first one. Now I've taken care of 2 more. I've taken care of Dr. Peace, and that was a fun fight, just because of the fact the guy likes to sing. You know, you come out and he's singing what's supposed to be the national anthem in the baseball stadium, and then you have to take him on. He's the only one that I've come across that has had a gun instead of a sword. And I enjoyed him. I thought he was a really great character, especially in the fact that his minions were all baseball oriented, so you had a little mini game where you could actually strike them back with their baseballs and get some extra points from that. So I liked Dr. Peace. Then I came across the next contract, and I probably liked her a little bit more, and that was Shinobu. In the fact that they were trying to... Really quick, let me explain this. So, people might be wondering why the screen did that. There are hazard tiles in this floor set, so all you have to do is cast float on yourself, and you can avoid the damage. You have to do it every floor. So I just forgot to do it that point. And obviously we can see something interesting. There is a house here. So yeah, I faced off with Shinobu. I like the fact that they tried to have a story where she's out for revenge against your character, or at least she thinks she is. She's pretty freaking hard. She took me a couple of attempts, and then... I don't want to say this was an insult to her. It was more like the character Travis Touchdown. I was trying to remember his name. Travis basically is kind of the normal Goku type anime character where he's like, no, we'll fight again because I had fun. And Shinobu doesn't like that because, she wants to be killed, but he leaves her alive, so that they can have another fight. And so admittedly, I wasn't totally on board with Travis as a character. Now I kind of am because of the way they're trying to make him out to be. I mean, up until this point, the character development for Travis was the only reason he's assassinating so many people is so he can get to know the leading female interest character better. And by better, I guess she made... They don't even say it on camera. She kind of makes the promise she'll sleep with him if he becomes the #1 ranked assassin. Okay, that's weird, but fine, we'll go with it. Then we have the whole Shinobu moment, and I had a little bit more respect for him because, well, I kind of like the Shinobu character and the fact there's actual plot to this. So, kudos. I've enjoyed it. I can already tell you one little bit of a gripe that I have is that in between assassination missions, you actually have to earn money to pay your way in. And this gets a little repetitive because either you can do a bunch of mini games where you're going out and mowing a guy's lawn or picking up coconuts, or you could actually take on ranked assassin missions to, kill a certain amount of people within a certain amount of time, or even the Dr. Peace baseball minigame becomes one. Those are fine and all, but they don't give enough to warrant, you have to do it a lot, at least from where I'm at, and that's a little annoying. I think it's just... It's annoying in the fact that that's a bad way to pad a game out. I have heard that there are assassination missions that will award exorbitant amounts of money. Because eventually the amounts will get higher and higher. So I'm hoping that I get to there pretty soon, but right now I am enjoying it, even though the filler could have been worked on a little bit more, as far as I am concerned. So that is No More Heroes. I've been enjoying that so far. Another game that I've been able to get my hands on is, if people remember when I beat Lego Marvel Superheroes, I said that I would finally get back to Spyro the Dragon. And I have. I started up Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage. I haven't gotten too far into it. I'm still very much in the world, but I can already begin to tell you, Spyro fans, this is a big improvement to the first Spyro. People might remember I did not like the first Spyro game when I played it. It was kind of a boring collectathon for me. Maybe if I was younger, I would have appreciated it more, but when I played it now, or I think it was like a couple of months ago, I did not enjoy it. I thought it was dated. I thought that there wasn't a whole lot of reward to it. This has been, at least from where I've played, this has fixed a lot of that. First of all, the collectathon isn't as boring because there are set goals in every world. You feel like the hero because you're trying to come in and help, you know, the people of the given world at that given time, because it's different animals at that point, and they have a specific goal. You need to free up, or you need to activate force fields, or you need to go rescue baby turtles. And as soon as you do that, oh my gosh, you're totally rewarded with a collectible talisman that you're gonna need to move forward. I also like the fact that the worlds do not feel half as long as they do in Spyro. Sometimes those worlds became a real slog, and I did not like that. I will also say that the character of Spyro has a little bit more of a personality in this game. I like the fact that a lot more characters speak. They actually have dialogue to give you, whether it be tutorial or, you know, explaining why you're there, because basically the plot is Spyro was wanting to go on vacation, and the people of the world of Avalar wanted a hero to take care of their enemy Ripto. So they bring in Spyro and say, well, in order for you to be able to hit the beach like you want to, you need to help us first. And yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but it's like, you know, given this had happened 10 years ago, this might have been seen as like a Sonic plot. I'm not kidding. This might have been like a Sonic plot. You know, Sonic wants to go chill and take a vacation, but he can't because he needs to go help the people of Station Square or whatever. So I've appreciated it so far. It isn't like absolutely hooking me in to the point where I'm playing it absurd amounts of time, but it's hooking me in enough that I'm interested to see how this goes. I was a little bit also surprised in Ripto, the villain. And yeah, I hate this fight just as much as any other Final Fantasy fan. With all the toads, that all they can do is cast Toad on you. And that cancels out magic and whatnot. It's not fun. But I completely lost my train. Oh yeah, with Ripto. For a second there, I thought he was going to be like a big guy like Nasty Nork was in the first one. Instead, he's this little ringmaster dude who's got a big posse. And I like that idea. I love the fact that he's not the big bad on the block. He just hires the big bad to do his evil bidding. That is cute to me as far as a platform game should be. And who knows, maybe like if I played this when I was younger, I would have appreciated the Spyro series a little bit more than I do. Because I think it would have been more worthwhile. But right now it's okay. I will say that Ripto's Rage is such an improvement to Spyro. Enough so that I'm optimistic about the game and how it's going to end. So, with that said, at least, I am liking that thus far. Another game that I've actually picked up that isn't on my official list, but I was sick, so I was like, I'm going to play what I want to go play. And that is the most recent indie game that came out for the PS4, Axiom Verge. I remember seeing this at E3 last year and seeing how much of an homage to Metroid it is, when in reality it kind of isn't. And I'm not that far. I've tackled a few bosses, but already the story intrigues me because you have no idea what's going on. You are as lost as your main character. He's trying to figure out what is going on, what has happened, is he dead? And I haven't gotten that answer, but holy crap, it's kept me attached. Also, the progression feels very Metroid-y, so eventually you will get different guns. You can switch between them, which I actually like. And then also you have the idea, like, there's a lot of areas that seem glitched, and it's not because you have a bad download or whatever. It's intentional. They are supposed to feel glitched, and rightly so, because you eventually get a weapon that can modify them, either open up a doorway or give you extra platforms to stand on. I love that idea. As a platforming mechanic, that's really interesting, because the character that you're playing is a researcher or a programmer. And right now, I think that's all I'm going to say on Axiom Verge. I think people ought to go out there and try it out. I really don't think you'll be disappointed at all. with that. Now, obviously, it is on PS4 only. If you have a Vita, I think it's there too. But I have heard talk that it may be making its way to the PS3. So, once it does that, I will let you guys know, and you guys need to try it out.
Yikes, humans!
Oh, look, we have claws inside this house. Oh, look! Oh my gosh! So, he didn't die.
We won't hand Yang over. We found him lying near the mouth of the cave. We've been taking care of him for a while now, but he has yet to awaken.
So it looks like after the explosion, he flew off over to the Sylph Cave, and they've been taking care of him. And he's unconscious. But he's alive! So we can be so happy about that.